Well, welcome to this beautiful day in Southern California. We're so blessed. And you all know me, Reverend Maureen, and I'm happy to welcome you all to the Center for Spiritual Living, Carlsbad, where we understand there's a power for good greater than we are, and we can use it. So this power for good, that's right, I would like you to relax while I do an opening prayer treatment. So just, if you want to, take a deep breath and just join me in consciousness, knowing there's only one life, God's life. God is all there is. This is a spiritual universe, and everything is spirit made manifest. I am, and I'm one with spirit, and God's life is my life, and I live and I move and I have my being in spirit. Spirit lives through me, as me, for me. So today I realize and know that spirit is manifesting in Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, solstice, holiday, all as an expression of love and joy. Giving and receiving our gifts from the universe, that it's a flow of love. Giving and receiving is energy. So this holiday, I declare that I am calm. I accept and open my arms to this wonderful holiday that's unfolding. I am filled with peace. I'm filled with light. I am happiness expressing. So in the realization of my spiritual self, I find my oneness with the Christ consciousness, with this higher consciousness within me. I am a manifestation of this love and peace and joy. I am inwardly guided. I am outwardly protected. For this and so much more, I give thanks, and I release my word. I release my word knowing it is acted upon as I have spoken it, and everything necessary to this full and complete expression of holiday is mine now, right now. I know it's so. So it is. So it is.
The gloomy clouds
And I hear the bells of Christmas. I'd like to ask Larry to come up to the front and light our candles at this point. So, the candles, we remind ourselves of the underlying spirit of life and the divine unity of all. The first candle we light is for life. Life is everywhere present, flowing through each and every one of us. There's only one life. That's God's life. That life is our life now. So please affirm with me, I am life. We light a candle for love. The birth of love happens within each one of us. Every time we make room for the Christ consciousness in our hearts and we recognize our unity, we are all points of love within the heart of God. So please affirm with me, I am love. We light a candle for light. The light of God is the presence and the power. We're always walking in the light. We radiate the light of God wherever we are. So please affirm with me, I am light. We light a candle for beauty. We are made in the likeness and image of God. We are each whole, complete, and beautiful, just the way we are. We accept the beauty of God's perfection as our perfection now. So please affirm with me, I am beauty. We light a candle for joy. Joy is the very nature of spirit and the true essence of each of us. We celebrate the joy of our own rebirth and God consciousness. We each bring joy to the world. So please affirm with me, I am joy. We light the candle for peace. Today and every day we open our hearts to peace. We are each a center of peace in the world. So please affirm with me, I am peace. And finally, I invite you to take a moment to recognize your own inner light. It's always shining as we honor our own metaphysical path of wholeness, oneness, and mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. Thank you, Larry. Thank you, Larry. Thank you, Chris. Well, I have a few announcements to make this today, and I just want to welcome everyone here today. And if you would like a spiritual mind treatment, you can grab one of us that has our hand up. Afterwards, we're also available to take written requests, and we will pray on those this week. So feel free to use us. That's what we talk about. We talk about metaphysical healing, mental healing. It's in the mind. So make use of us. Next week we're going to have a cookie party. And Kate's bringing the milk. Yeah. So bring homemade or store-bought, whatever you want, but we're going to have cookies next week. And I want to mention a very important thing today. You'll see these beautiful plants. Well, Morgan will mention something about it, but Morgan made these plant, what do you call them?
Dish gardens.
Dish gardens.
Dish gardens.
For everyone who volunteered. So do you want to mention something about it?
Kate has made a list of volunteers for this past year. And if your name is on the list, pick a number out of the basket. And then we will choose the dish gardens according to our numbers.
Okay. Thank you for doing that. That's beautiful.
Wow.
So, any other announcements next week? We're looking forward to doing some classes in January, and we're looking at doing some rock painting and other things. So, watch the news. So I just want to say thank you, all volunteers, and we have the sign-up list out on the table for next week. Thanks. I want to especially thank Robert for these beautiful anthuriums. Thank you, Robert. I want to thank Jan Green for being our greeter today. Thank you, Jan. And everyone for bringing food. Thank you, everyone. Jim Maspas for our video recording. Thank you, Jim. And did Dave set up today? Your son?
No, Chuck did.
Oh, Chuck, your husband. Thank you, Chuck. Thank you, Chuck, for setting up. I also want to thank Jan Sherburne for all she does, keeping things running behind the scenes and taking care of the bookstore. All right. We have a group reading. Most of you know it by heart, but if you don't, it's in the program. So let's do our group reading together. God is all, both visible and invisible. One presence, one mind, one power is all. This one that is all is perfect love and perfect abundance. I am an individualized expression of God. I am ever one with His perfect life, perfect love, and perfect abundance. Thank you. And you have a song for us, a group song?
Yes, and gosh, good morning, everyone. Good morning. Christmas, and Happy Hanukkah, and Kwanzaa, etc. So there's a song sheet here, and hopefully everyone has one, because we are going to use it throughout the service. Conrad, get one, and we're going to, for our congregation, does everybody have one?
Yeah.
Okay, good. And we're going to start, we're going to do our congregational song, Joy to the World.
Okay.
And if you feel like standing, fine. If not, fine. And we'll do 3 verses. It's on the bottom, in the bottom left-hand side. All right. Okay.
All right. Well, thanks. And next, inspirational reading. So I want to invite Jim Massapus.
Yay, Jim!
Thank you, Reverend Maureen. Good morning.
Good morning.
Beautiful day in San Diego. Today's reading is from Reverend Dr. Trish Hall of Washington, D.C. Center for Spiritual Living. If we embrace Dr. Holmes' adage, the universe is conspiring to deliver our good, then why do we allow our human doubts to override our faith in our Creator? Sadly, we humans often place greater faith in swarming opinions in our sensory system than our knowing of the divine. Here are several quotes from Dr. Ernest Holmes to ponder. We are all living in a world of continual change, a world in which thought, thing, and experience are all in a constant state of flux. It is the very nature of the universe that there should be continual change and variation. It is a living world, the creation of a living creative intelligence, not a static world created by a God now dead or departed, who has left it to decay. No, it's vital and alive. The mind that created it is not apart from it, but is always active and through it. Excuse me. But behind that which changes, behind that which causes the change, we have found that there is something stable and changeless, something eternal upon which all the external events depend from their very existence. Behind the endless process of change and the infinite variety of experience and expression, there is that which does not change. Change is the only thing that's permanent. Interesting. The only thing that we can say of anything that looks static is, this too shall pass away. Nature demands change in order that we may advance. When change comes, we should welcome it with a smile on the lips and a song in the heart. Remember, the things and experiences we enjoy will change, as will those we don't care for or that we wish had never happened. All will change. The only element over which we have any control is ourselves to be flexible, amicable, and resilient. Living in anticipation of change strengthens our capacity to see through immediate experience to the myriad possible outcomes. Never forget that which we focus upon expands in our experience. So choose wisely where you place your attention and embrace the artful practice of doing affirmative prayer. And so it is.
So it is.
Thank you, Jim. Do we have another song? All right. Do you want us to stand?
Well, we're gonna, as I mentioned, we're gonna do a lot of singing today, sing along, and on this song, please, oh come all you faithful. We're gonna do 3 verses, and if you want to stand, this is what you, or don't, it doesn't matter, whatever y'all want to do, but oh come all you faithful, and we are the faithful. Come,
Indeed.
I mean, you don't have to stand, I mean, just fun. Okay, here we go. Yeah, or just sit down. Okay. I'm sorry, I probably should do it, but does that feel kind of high?
Too high.
It's too high. Why don't we, it's hard for me to change the key right now, why don't we just sing it lower, like, oh come. Would that be okay? Because it is kind of, okay, let's do it. Hey, and if you want to sing harmony, by golly, throw it in. Okay? Let's do it again. Oh, come, ye faithful, joyful and
Larry brought the poinsettias. Thank you.
Yay, Larry.
And thank you, Lucille. And for the pièce de résistance, Kate, and talking about Christmas holiday cheer.
Thank you, everyone. And Larry brought the bells, too.
And Patsy with her bells.
Yay. So, look, a microphone.
Oh,
Wait a minute. How's that?
Am I loud enough?
yes,
Okay,
perfect.
great. Good, well, I get really excited and you guys can play theirs. I want to say good morning too. Everybody gets to say good morning.
Good
And I wanted
morning.
to also. And we know it's not quite Christmas yet, but obviously some people are already on their Christmas vacations, and I know that to be true because I know some part of our congregation was buying snow chains. So isn't it nice to be here in toasty Carlsbad?
We're so lucky.
So, but I know they'll all have fun. So, even though it's not quite Christmas yet, it's not quite the darkest day of the year. It's getting quite near, and that's why I wanted to call my talk Christmas Cheer. Because I actually know that I'm not alone. A lot of people right now might be moving into a state of Christmas
fear instead of Christmas cheer. I used to feel that way myself, but I have given it up completely as of about 3 days ago. When I realized that in order to get ready for today, I was just going to have to stop worrying about today and understand that it was all going to be fine. And it is. When I was young, not really into this teaching that much, I formed the opinion that the end of the year was a time of growing darkness and that a lot more things went wrong in December. But then, on January 1st, everything would start getting better again. I just believe that, and just like we teach, what you believe, you experience. I used to experience that every year. Now that I have actually learned that our thoughts do control the tendencies in our lives, it doesn't surprise me that that's what I used to experience, but I understand now it doesn't have to be that way. So if you feel yourself sinking into an emotional morass of worry or fear about this or that, whether in December or any time, and I'm not talking about imaginary fears, and I'm not trying to make light of real concerns that you may have or have had in the past, or maybe right now, maybe about your budget or your health or the health of someone you care about, or maybe just about, you're worried about how much to spend on gifts, or how you're going to get through that gathering with relatives, or how you're going to get through the holidays without relatives. You know, perhaps you feel wistful about past memories, past times that you know will never going to return. Or maybe, like me, your to-do list just seems so long. But anyway, what I know is that when we feel ourselves sinking into that kind of a mindset, it's time to start thinking. So, an example, you know, I was thinking, oh, I'm never going to get everything done by this Sunday, by the end of the year. And I recognized I was doing that, so I embarked on a series of new thoughts, right? That's what we teach, new thought. So I began telling myself, I'm doing fine. Everything's going to work out fine. I can ask for help. And this morning there was so much help. It was wonderful. There's plenty of time. Every day is a new day, and if I don't finish something, there's always tomorrow. When we stop worrying and begin feeling grateful and let ourselves recognize that there is good for us, things seem to work out. So my worry was about not having enough time. And yet the problem wasn't really time. Every day there's 24 hours, and every day it doesn't change. The problem was my feeling of not enough. You know, it was my feeling of there not being enough time, which is always, when you feel that way, let's face it, it's a reflection of how we're thinking about ourselves, that we're not enough during that time. That feeling of not enough can seep into our lives in little tiny ways, undermining our happiness with what you could call the Uncle Scrooge virus of the wine. Since it's Christmas, I thought I'd bring him up, and I'm sure everyone remembers the character Ebenezer Scrooge from Charles Dickens' story, The Christmas Carol. I didn't know, but he actually wrote that in 1843, and he wrote a lot of stories about little poor children. But he wrote the Christmas Carol after he had gone to what they call the Ragged School in London, which was a school run by volunteers for our street children and the children of very poor parents who couldn't afford tuition. So it moved him, and this story was the result. So what does this story have to do with us today? Well, it was just 2 weeks ago that Reverend Maureen talked about basically the law of circulation. How being open to receiving and giving puts us on the pathway to experiencing life's abundance. And then last week, Reverend Almondra declared that the secret ingredient to life is having spiritual awareness. And so I think that's really is something that we can recognize in the story, A Christmas Carol. So, we're just gonna have fun today. And so I want to share a little bit of that story with you. Some of his words, the best words I say will be Charles Dickens' words, but I'm not gonna read the whole story because we all know he got paid a penny a word or something, right? So I'll skip a lot. And to see if you don't agree that his story brings these two ideas together in a special Christmassy way. I mean, after all, who better to learn about abundance and awareness from the cranky old miser? And so the story began with Dickens introducing us to the businessman, Scrooge himself. He wrote, "Oh, but he was a tight-fisted hand at the grindstone, Scrooge. A squeezing, wrenching, grasping, scraping, clutching, covetous old sinner, hard and sharp as flint. But flint that no steel had ever struck a spark from. Secret and self-contained and solitary as an oyster. The cold within him froze his old features, nipped his pointed nose, shriveled his cheeks, stiffened his gait, made his eyes red, his thin lips blue, and spoke out shrewdly through his grating voice. Nobody ever stopped him in the street to say, 'My dear Scrooge, how are you? When will you come to see me?' But what did Scrooge care? It was the very thing he liked. To edge his way along the crowded paths of life, warning all human sympathy to keep his distance. That's what Scrooge liked. But one Christmas evening, while Scrooge was working in his counting house along with his clerk, Bob Cratchit, working late, by candlelight, in the cold, barely heated office, Scrooge's cheerful nephew stopped by to wish him a Merry Christmas. "Bah," said Scrooge, "humbug. What's at Christmas time to you? But a time for paying bills without money? A time for finding yourself a year older but not an hour richer? If I could work my will," said Scrooge indignantly. "Every idiot who goes about with Merry Christmas on his lips should be boiled with his own pudding and buried with a stake of holly through his heart. He should." And then Scrooge rudely refused his nephew's invitation to come for Christmas dinner. Soon after, some other businessmen stopped by to ask him to give to charity, and he rudely refused them too. And then a caroler came by and sang right in front of his office, And I need your help because you're going to pretend that you are those carolers.
Okay, so let's look at God Rest Ye Merry Gentlemen, the bottom right-hand corner of your song sheet. And when we get to the second verse, I'm going to lay out playing on just on the verse, and let's see if we can harmonize a little bit. And then I'll come back into the piano and the chorus. Okay? Okay, we're going to sing it kind of low. Okay? God rest ye merry gentlemen, nothing you dismay. Remember Christ our Savior was born on Christmas Day to save us all from Satan's house when we were gone astray. Oh, tidings of comfort and joy, tidings of comfort and joy from God our heavenly Father. Blessed angel came, and unto certain shepherds tidings all the same. How that in Bethlehem was born the child of God by name. Oh, tidings of comfort and joy, comfort and joy. Oh, tidings of comfort and joy.
Well, as beautiful as it was, the sound of the caroling made Scrooge so angry, he started throwing things at the door, and the carolers fled away. Scrooge was so grumpy, he decided to call it a day, and so he headed home, leaving his poor clerk working even later after he begrudgingly gave him Christmas Day off, but with no pay. But later on, when Scrooge was resting at home, he had a strange visitor. It was the ghost of his old partner, Marley, who had been dead 7 years. He had been wandering the earth, he said, for 7 years, dragging chains and money boxes. And he came to Scrooge to give him a warning, saying, I wear the chain I forged in life. I made it link by link and yard by yard. I girded it on of my own free will, and of my own free will I wore it. Pay attention. And Marley's ghost urged Scrooge to pay attention to the 3 spirits that would soon be coming to visit him. And then he disappeared. After Scrooge had fallen asleep, he was visited by the first ghost, a pale little ghost. Who and where are you? Scrooge demanded. I am the ghost of Christmas past. Long past? Inquired Scrooge. No, your past. Scrooge asked him what business brought him there. Your welfare, said the ghost. Your reclamation. Take heed. And then the pale little ghost took him on a journey back to the places of his childhood, to look back on days, events, both sad and happy, and then took him to the scene of how it was that he had lost his fiancée to someone else, because of his growing obsession with money, which gradually became the whole focus of his life. Exhausted by these memories, Scrooge rolled over and fell asleep again until he was suddenly awakened to find a jolly giant ghost sitting right there in his room, and his whole room seemed to have been transformed into an amazing garden, beautiful room full of plants with a beautiful feast laid out for him. "Come in," exclaimed the ghost. "Come in and know me better, man." Scrooge entered this magical world timidly and hung his head before the spirit. He was not the Scrooge he had been before the visit from the first ghost, and though the spirit's eyes were clear and kind, he did not like to meet them. "I am the ghost of Christmas present," said the spirit. "Look upon me and touch my robe." Scrooge did, and instantly they were wandering through the town. And they came to the small home of Scrooge's clerk, Bob Cratchit, where he looked and saw how it was that the Cratchit family would be celebrating their meager but very happy Christmas dinner of a small roast goose and pudding. Not a pudding like the pudding we have today. Here, it's more like a boiled cake. So let's pretend once again that we're carolers outside Bob Cratchit's house.
We wish you a Merry Christmas, the top right-hand corner of your paper. We wish you a Merry Christmas, we wish you a Merry Christmas, we wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. The tidings we bring to you and your kin, with tidings for Christmas, Happy New Year. Now bring us some baby pudding, bring us some baby pudding, bring us some baby pudding, bring some right here. The tidings we bring to you and your kin, the tidings for Christmas, Happy New Year. Wish you a Merry Christmas, we wish you a Merry Christmas, we wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
So after hearing the carolers, Scrooge watched, and he saw the little boy, Tiny Tim, on his crutches for the first time. And he heard little Tim echo his father's Christmas blessing by saying, "God bless us, each and every one." And as Scrooge looked on, he began to notice how Bob Cratchit held on to his little boy, as if he dreaded that the boy might be taken from him. "Spirit," said Scrooge, with an interest he had never felt before, "tell me if Tiny Tim will live." "I see a vacant seat," replied the ghost, "in the poor chimney corner, and a crutch without an owner, carefully preserved. If these shadows remain unaltered by the future, the boy will die." "No, no," said Scrooge. "Oh, no, kind spirit, say he will be spared." And then Scrooge heard his employee speak again, giving a toast. "Mr. Scrooge," said Bob, "I give you Mr. Scrooge, the founder of this feast." Next, the ghost took Scrooge off to the home of his nephew, which was full of merriment. And once again, he was so surprised to hear a toast to himself as his nephew said, "A Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to the old man. Whatever he is, he wouldn't take it from me, but may he have it nevertheless. Merry Christmas, Uncle Scrooge." And then Scrooge instantly found himself back in bed, back asleep, where the last of the spirits, the ghost of the future, dressed in solemn black, came slowly towards him. Scrooge felt dread at its approach. It never said a word, but beckoned to him and moved him into a vision of a group of businessmen standing around, talking callously about someone who had died while they were organizing his funeral. Then the ghost took him to see, never saying a word, to see other scenes that would have unfolded for this person, whoever it was, who had passed. A scene of servants at a pawn shop. And finally, the ghost, beckoning him, took him to the graveyard, where Scrooge realized it was his gravestone, lonely, by itself, no flowers. Upon which vision, Scrooge suddenly came to his senses, exclaiming, "I will honor Christmas in my heart and try to keep it all year. I will live in the past, the present, and the future. The spirits of all three shall strive within me. I will not shut out the lessons that they teach. Oh, tell me that I may sponge away the writing on this gravestone." But the ghost said nothing and vanished. And then it was morning, a real morning. Scrooge woke, and yes, and the bedpost was his own. The bed was his own. The room was his own. Best and happiest of all, the time before him was his own to make amends in. "I will live in the past, the present, and the future. The spirits of all three shall strive within me. Oh, Jacob Marley, oh, heaven, and the Christmas time be praised for this. I say it on my knees, old Jacob Marley, on my knees." He was so fluttered and so glowing with his good intentions that his broken voice could hardly make a sound. He'd been sobbing violently in his conflict about the spirit in his dreams, and his face was wet with tears, but they were tears of joy now. Time for a Christmas carol.
Okay, deck the halls, top left-hand corner. Deck the halls with boughs of gold. Tis the season to be jolly. Don't wait now, I can hear a carol. Throw the ancient Yuletide carol. second verse. Let's see. See, sorry about that. See the blazing hill before us. Step right the heart and join in the chorus. Follow me in merry measure. Sweet home, the time travels.
Scrooge felt happy. He was so happy to realize simply that he was alive and at home, that there was still time for him. But he didn't know for sure what day it was. So running to the window, he opened it and put out his head. No fog, no mist, clear, bright, jovial, stirring cold. Cold, piping for the blood to dance by. Golden sunlight, heavenly sky, sweet fresh air, merry bells. Oh, glorious, glorious. What's today? Cried Scrooge to a boy passing in the street. Today? Why, it's Christmas Day. It's Christmas Day, said Scrooge to himself. I haven't missed it. The spirits have done it all in one night. They can do anything they like. Of course they can. Of course they can. Hello, my fine fellow, he called down to the boy. And then Scrooge had the boy run to the poultry shop to buy the biggest turkey and have it delivered anonymously to Bob Cratchit's family. And then with a happy step, he walked down the street to his nephew's to enjoy that wonderful Christmas dinner he had been invited to. The next day, when Bob Cratchit came into work, Scrooge teased him about being late, which scared him. And then Scrooge gave him a raise and offered to help him with his family, and then ordered him to go out and buy some more coal for their office fireplaces. Well, Scrooge was better than his word. He did it all, and infinitely more. And to Tiny Tim, who did not die, he was a second father. He became as good a friend, as good a master, and as good a man as the good old city knew, or any other good old city, town, or borough in the good old world. Some people laughed to see the alteration in him, but he let them laugh and little heeded them. His own heart laughed, and that was quite enough for him. I love that story. If you haven't read it lately, it's kind of long, but it's got a lot more to it. He's a wonderful, Dickens is a wonderful wordsmith, so I had to just pull out a few things. But I hope you see in this story, nothing changed except Scrooge. When he opened his heart, the whole world opened up to him. That's my story. I know we're all going to have a great Christmas, and thank you so much. Oh, I just wanted to add, Reverend Maureen mentioned that we have volunteer gifts for everyone who's a volunteer, and I wrote the list, so I happen to know everyone in this room is a volunteer. So when we are ready to to have our meal. We just go right over to the basket and pick a number, because whoever gets number 1 gets first pick. So that'll be something fun. So thank you, everyone, and I'll turn it over to Lucille.
The stars are brightly shining. It is the night of our dear Savior's birth. Yes, if you know it, just sing along. Long lay the world with mistakes and error pride. Really out here, and the soul felt its worth. A thrill of hope, the weary world rejoices, for yonder grace was new and glorious morn.
Beautiful, Lucille. I feel like so grateful to have Lucille with us for the Christmas baby. And so, that makes it so nice. Okay, so time for our conscious giving, opportunity to give back to the center. Oh yeah, somewhere in your program, we have our new little saying, if anyone would like to say it along with me. Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I am, and all that I give. I know this is so, and so it is.
I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful, I am so blessed, I am so grateful. I am so
who have responded to our email requests to make a year-end contribution. And I really appreciate how many people have pitched in for that, and also for helping Reverend Amandra collect funds to give the journals to women in transition. So I'm really grateful for the support that we all give to each other and to this center. And yes, during the collection, you all got gift certificates to our bookstore. So do a little shopping. Okay, I already explained the volunteer, what we're gonna do, draw a number, then we're gonna eat. It's gonna be nice. So all we have to do now is have a closing treatment. Ready? Okay. The first thing I know is that this is a spiritual universe, and that each one of us is a beautiful, wonderful, perfect, whole, and complete individualization of spirit itself. That this whole world, this glorious life, is spirit in expression. And I give thanks that it is so. And because it is so, I now declare that our lives, the lives of each and every person here, the lives of everyone with whom we are connected, the lives of those who are part of our congregation, who are off doing fun things, and the lives of those who are in our congregation, who are perhaps getting over or working through a challenge of some kind, are blessed that we and they are all light-filled spirits, that we have everything we need, that we have enough for ourselves, enough to share, that we are filled with the light of self-awareness, and that we are able to understand the truth, that there is good for us, that we ought to have it, and that we can open our hearts to it in this very moment, right now. I give thanks that this is so. I give thanks for this season of Christmas, the season of the light, this season of good. I give thanks and I turn this treatment over to Spirit, knowing it is already done. I invite you to join with me in knowing this by saying together, and so it is.